AM 590, KXSP Omaha's ESPN Radio. It's time for the Metro's only racing talk show. The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Buddy Ray.
Good morning, race fans, and welcome to another edition of The Front Stretch, powered by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. 23rd Ave or online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. But I think I've asked you guys this before. Did you get the Google Map thing fixed?
Yeah.
If you Google mapped it before, it took you to North Council Bluffs, which
in fact, I just had an outing today. We have a feature. We've always had it. I didn't know how to use it. We can do online registering. Now, what this means, Dan, is if you have 20 guys and you want to come in June 1st.
Right.
I just send you an online link. You have all 20 of your guys from their own laptop or home computer or whatever. Just do our online registration. They walk up to the counter.
Are you trying to tell me that I should pre-register to make things run smoother?
Well, we don't have a pre-registration link on our website.
But I have to email you.
I have to email it to
you.
So
this is like a way that, let's say I'm a driver, and I'm coming to race at a track, and I want things to move a little smoother.
Pre-register.
I can that is tracks ought to do that.
They should.
Oh, wait a minute, they do.
And guess who doesn't do it? The drivers.
If you've been listening to Slinging Dirt or The Front Stretch, you know our little tirade. You drivers absolutely drive me nuts. No pun intended. Drive me nuts with how you'll show up a half an hour before hot laps are supposed to start, expecting to get in and have no issues at all. But anyways, this is The Front Stretch. Guys, we've got an amazing show for you lined up. I'm so excited. God. Turn one, let's talk Coca-Cola 600. We're not going to talk as long as it takes, but we're going to break down everything that happened at the Coca-Cola 600. In turn two, we're going to talk Charlie Clark Memorial. Guys, this is one. If you miss this race, I pity you. I honestly pity you. And
Best race I've ever seen in 40 years.
Oh, my God. You're going to hear us talk about how great it is. We're not overselling it. This was some fantastic racing. Not a single driver wanted to finish second that day. And it was
Even the last place driver didn't want to finish last.
It was perfect weather. It was perfect track. It was awesome racing conditions.
Modifieds 5 wide in turn 4.
It was fantastic. We're going to talk all about it in turn 2. Then in turn 3, we're going to talk with Kyle Burke and Travis Dickus, both winners of the Charlie Clark Memorial. Travis won the SLMR. Kyle won the second A feature for the A mods because there was 2 segments.
I'm going to ask him what he thinks of Jesse Sabi. This is the first time he's ever raced against Jesse, so I'm going to ask him what he thinks.
And Jesse's doing very well for himself this year in the A mods.
Jesse was no slouch at the Charlie Clark. I think the Charlie Clark was Jesse's first real taste at stiff competition.
He's been racing all throughout the country, though.
Yeah, but he hasn't raced a stacked field with
that
the likes
was a stacked field.
I mean, that was stacked.
So we're going to talk with Kyle Burke and Travis Dickus in turn 3. Turn 4, we're going to preview the Monster Mile. It's Dover today. We're also going to talk about the Pick'ems contest. And guess what is going on next weekend? I am so excited about this. World of Outlaws. To get your tickets now, go to I-80. You can pick them up there, or slspromotions.com, or you can get them at worldofoutlaws.com.
Hold on.
Are you going to lose your dinner over there?
$5 off discount tickets.
At Napa, yep.
At Napa Auto Parts.
Exactly. Participating Napa Auto Parts, you can head over there and pick up your tickets, get $5 off. World of Outlaws, you're going to pay for a show, but you're going to get it. And they're going to be at I-80 Speedway, which they're going to run like madmen at that track with them 410 engines. So,
are you going to do pit reporting?
I would love to, but I don't know.
I want to hear you do pit reporting. To see you walk up to Danny the Dude Lasowski or
Sammy Swindell
or well, you may have to slow down your pit reporting for Sammy Swindell.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too fast.
But Steve Kinzer, Mark Kinzer, Jack Hossenchild.
I'd be in heaven. I would be in heaven. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Heaven. So we've got a hell of a show lined up for you. But before we get to all of that, let's talk about this Coca-Cola 600. Buddy, I was very happy with this race. I don't know if it was because, we had that long talk last weekend about managing your expectations and not buying into what Fox is overselling. You can't go into the Coca-Cola 600 expecting beating and banging. And we didn't see that at all. We didn't see drivers lean on each other like you see at Bristol or Martinsville or Richmond. We didn't see fast speed, these massive fast speeds like you do at Daytona. What we saw was drivers taking care of their equipment, staying calm, cool, and collect because they have 600 miles to race. And I think in that sense, it set me up to be very happy with what we ended up seeing, which was some fantastic restarts, some great racing for about 2-3 laps until the tires wore down a little bit. I was thrilled with the Coca-Cola 600, the first one I have been thrilled with in years.
And it came down to the line.
You're just pun city over there, aren't you?
Yeah, that, the Coca, had the line not broke, to me it was just another Coca-Cola 600, really.
Well, you didn't get to see a lot of it, though.
You didn't get to see a lot of the...
You didn't get to see a lot of it.
No, I didn't get to see...
You were busy racing.
I was busy racing. But there's a few guys in the pits, that when we're not working on the cars, we're, on our cell phones. Well, who's doing this? Who's doing that? With our Pick'ems contest, I know I was jabbing you all night long. So,
no, you were hiding because after Earnhardt blew his engine, all of a sudden you disappeared.
Yeah, but on the way home, I was like, what was I keen? I mean, I'm so far ahead of you in the points. I could easily have one night.
I took a good chunk out of it. Yeah. But let's talk about this Coca-Cola 600. We'll talk about the points Pick'em contest in turn 4. A rough night for Fox, as well. It kind of seems to be par for their broadcasts.
Yeah, they're not doing very good at all.
Your
pit reporting is better than theirs.
Thank you.
We go to races. We go to races where we don't have cameras falling on our car or lines getting wrapped up in our wheels.
Listen, I thought a lot about that camera fall, and we've had a long time to digest it. Obviously, a week to sit back and think about it. And I feel bad for Fox because they're trying to offer the best angles possible, and there's been these weird incidences where there was an in-car camera. I want to say it was Kenny Schrader's car years ago, caught fire and caught his car on fire. Well, you didn't see in-car cameras get ripped out and people criticize the TV broadcast. Fox was just trying to offer another angle, and I think it's a very cool angle. One they offer for NFL. You see that cam that sits right behind the quarterback. And those cables, I keep doing it. They're not cables. It's a rope. It's a nylon type rope that if I'm going to try to find the news report, but Fox was talking about that cable can support 9,300 pounds. One of those cables, one of those ropes, I did it again. One of those ropes can support 9,300 pounds. And that camera system weighs 900 pounds. So something, and they released a statement later on in the week. Again, we apologize for the cars that got damaged. Kyle Busch, Marcus Ambrose. Apologize for all that stuff that happened, especially the fans that got hurt. But they really have no clue, as of Wednesday when we recorded, how this system failed. But so far, the overhead camera has been indefinitely suspended until they figure out the cause of the issue.
I was just getting ready to ask you, are they going to suspend all camera?
I hope to all heaven that camera comes back because that was so cool.
Yeah, it's great.
The first part of that race before it failed to watch, I think it was Casey Kane that was leading, and they followed him all the way out of 4, and that speed of that camera, man, that was so cool to see that. It was just another aspect, just like that gyro camera that they run at Daytona and some of these heavily banked tracks to get an idea of how banked you go. I think it was a great innovation that I can't even say that it was ahead of its time because obviously they're taking these 9,300-pound strength-capable ropes and some 900-pound system is failing. So I think it was just one of those, oops. Like the track coming apart at Daytona, like the track coming apart at Martinsville. Nothing that Fox could have avoided. It just happened.
No, but when it comes to Fox, it just seems like a lot of things this year. I understand what Fox is wanting to do, and it makes sense, and they're great ideas.
Yeah.
But Fox is just coming up short on so many levels.
I'm very
with the NASCAR footage.
We could complain about Fox's broadcast, and unfortunately, they just signed a massive renewal contract with NASCAR, so they're not going anywhere for a long time. Hopefully when they switch to Fox Sports 1, they'll get their game together. I can't wait for ESPN to take over because getting graphics wrong, going to commercial during lead changes absolutely infuriates me. Absolutely infuriates me. This is Charlotte. It's not Bristol when all of a sudden a lead change happens.
If you're the person in charge of the sports broadcasting at Fox and you just took out the leader at Charlotte because your camera system broke,
and bravo to Fox. And you didn't see this part of it. Kyle Busch's car, they were able to make repairs to it, full repairs to where it was still raceable. It was still a winnable car. He unfortunately blew an engine, and they're going to go back and take a look at it this week. Maybe they can draw a parallel between that rope and his engine blowing, but I doubt it because there was a couple of guys' engines that blew that night. But first off, NASCAR handled it absolutely perfectly. Red flag, you got 15 minutes to fix your car, get it fixed, and we're going to go back to green flag racing.
Line you up where you were.
And they did it. Bravo. They gave Marcus Ambrose his laps back because he came in while it was under caution before they realized the severity of it all. He came in and was trying to get all the rope out from underneath of his car because it was all up in his rear suspension and tangling things up. So they came in and lost several laps. Well, NASCAR said, go ahead, get your laps back. So he's out there making laps while everyone else is still sitting on pit road.
Wow.
I think NASCAR handled it perfectly.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfectly. And then just like you would expect Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus, they're having battery issues, and they turned to an official and said, hey, since everyone else is working on their car, can we change this alternator out? NASCAR said, nope. That alternator failure had nothing to do with the rope system. You're stuck with it. Again, bravo. I think NASCAR handled that perfectly.
You got to be fair.
Let's talk about the end of the race. Came down to the final caution laps where Casey Kane was absolutely hung out to dry.
This is what we've been talking about.
He was on an island. Laps. If he would have come, everyone would have stayed. Since he stayed, everyone came. Him and Kenny France were banking on at least one or two drivers staying out. There was a couple of guys who just finished getting 4 tires, and they're saying, you know what? We've got pretty good tires. They've got brand new tires. They got 2-3 laps on them. Why would they come to pit road? So let's stay out there. Let's get ourselves out in the fresh air, and we'll have the faster car and go. Had that scenario happened, I think we'd be talking about a Casey Kane victory today and not a Kevin Harvick victory.
Came all down to pit strategy.
Everybody came, and absolutely left Casey Kane out there to dry. Now, he does come home with a second-place finish on a
little over a second behind Kevin
Harvick. Yep.
And how cool is it to see Kevin Harvick back in the victory lane?
Yeah, his, I think, second win of the year.
I want to say that sounds about right.
Yeah, second win of the year. Casey Kane come home second. Look at this. The old 78. Kurt Busch comes home with a great top 5 finish in third place. Denny Hamlin doing it again in the 11 car. Comes home in 4th. Joey Logano 5th. Ryan Bloomin' Newman. If you were paying attention on Monday, you could have gone to Outback and got yourself a bloomin' onion because he finished in the top 10. You're sitting down, right? Okay, you're prepared for this, right? Tony Stewart finished 7th.
Is that his first top 10 of the year?
I think it is. I really do think it is. We're 12 races in. That's his first top 10.
So you have Newman up there. You have Stewart up there.
Yep.
Yeah, where Danica finished.
Well, Danica got wrecked out by her boyfriend.
Oh, that had to be an interesting ride home.
It was very interesting. I listened to the radios later that week, and she wasn't very happy with him. Now, it's not like they're going to break up over the situation. It was just one of those things. He didn't give her enough room. And she slid up and took out the 2 also because he hit her. She slid up and took out Keselowski. They had a bad night. He had a bad couple of weeks. Keselowski did. Clint Bowyer came home in 8th. Martin Truex Jr. 9th. And Marcus Ambrose came home 10th.
Eric Almirola, where'd he finish?
He was wrecked out also, finished 33rd.
How did he look, though, prior to
Very good. They finally got that car right, and he was on his way forward.
Yeah. Getting to be a big fan of his. Every week I'm following Eric Almirola just because he's not a Jimmy Johnson. He's not a Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's not a Tony.
It's good to see someone else win.
Some fresh meat is running up to the front.
Rough days, and I'm not just saying this just because he was your pick, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kyle Busch, oddly enough, blew engines on the exact same lap. Toyota, Chevy, both blew engines.
Lap 139, wasn't it?
They both blew engines. I don't remember what lap. It wasn't too far after that red flag that they both blew engines.
How was Junior looking prior to blowing the engine?
Top 10. He was doing well. I mean, him and Kyle Busch both were doing very well for themselves. Brad Keselowski had a rough day. Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, again, just talked about Eric Almirola. All those guys were collected in accidents close to the end of the race. Danica Patrick had a rough day. Highest finishing rookie was Ricky Stenhouse in 14th. Jimmy Johnson spun, had a little bit of damage from when him and Montoya got together. Not able to get that car together. Then they had missed a lug nut on pit road, so it put him even farther behind. And he finishes outside of the top 10, but still has that dominant point lead of over 32 points. A 32-point lead over Carl Edwards right now. So don't expect that 48 team. In fact, the 48 team wouldn't be a bad pick for today because they have a really, really good habit of when they have a bad weekend, they win the next weekend, just to show it's not a consistency thing. We just had a bad weekend.
I don't know how to take that coming from you right now, because with our Pick'ems contest, you would love to, because I get to pick first.
Yeah, so I'm nervous as hell. I'm not telling you who I'm picking. Wait, no, it's Johnson. I'm picking Johnson. No.
Well, I get to pick first.
I know.
So you would love to see me pick Johnson right now, because
I wouldn't, because I think he's going to win this weekend. I think he's going to win. I honestly think Johnson's going to pull out a win today. I'm dead serious. He had a bad car. I mean, not a bad car, but not a typical car for that 48 team. He didn't race it the best, especially at Charlotte. Very odd to see him do that, and I think he's gonna do what Jimmy Johnson does. He's gonna put his head down, and he's gonna drive his butt right to the front, and he's gonna absolutely dominate.
I'm not taking Johnson. I'm saving my Johnson pick.
That's fine. So am I. All right, let's move on. Turn 2 just around the corner. We're going to talk Charlie Clark Memorial. We got a lot to talk about.
Yep.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. Charlie Clark Memorial just around the corner. Turn 2 on the front stretch.
In 1999, Wade Cross decided he was tired of overpaying for shocks, so he created FX Shocks. Now FX suspension customers reach across the United States with countless wins and championships, including national champion in 3 major IMCA classes, plus Super Nationals champions in all 4 of the Saturday night's main events. Get your FX Shocks today. One-on-one consultation is waiting for you at 308-383-9609. 308-383.
This is Andrew from Kaziski Auto Parts. Kaziski Auto Parts is an insurance-quality used parts supplier that can match your foreign or domestic car or truck needs. If you have a damaged or broke-down car or truck, we guarantee a clean and quality part in next-day fashion. Kaziski Auto Parts, your neighborhood premium recycled parts supplier. Call any Kaziski Auto Parts salesman today by dialing 402-731-4592 or visit us at 5040 I Street in Omaha. Kaziski Auto Parts, our quality used parts will match your car or truck's needs.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.
We're working the high line into turn 2 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting. Online at joeskarting.com.
Welcome back to the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Turn 2, though, powered by World of Outlaws. I'm so excited about seeing these guys at I-80 Speedway coming up June 9th, next Sunday night.
It's been a long time since we've seen these guys out here.
I think World of Outlaws. Well, they were supposed to race last year at Eagle early in the year about this time, but they got rained out and they came later in the year, and I think you and I missed that race.
Oh, no, I think I actually went to the World of Outlaws.
I think I missed it for some reason.
I went to a lot of races last year, but at I-80, they haven't been there, and I want to say in like 10 or 12 years.
I'm so excited. They're running those 410s on that. They're going to get a massive speed.
Here's a scary thought. You've seen Jack Dover, Stu Snyder haul the mail around I-80.
Yeah.
Factor in another 30, 40 mile an hour.
Yeah, it's going to be
ludicrous.
Get your tickets today, worldofoutlaws.com, slspromotions.com. You can also get the link on i-80speedway.com or $5 discount if you go to a Napa Auto Parts, participating Napa Auto Parts store. Get over to worldofoutlaws.com. All the information's there. You can go to a Napa Auto Parts store and get yourself $5 off. Just like this weekend at the Charlie Clark Memorial. Last weekend at the Charlie Clark Memorial, if you'd have brought a case of water, you'd have brought 10 cases of water, you got $20 off your gate pass. $2 off for every case of water, something that Joe Kaziski and all the guys over there at I-80 were putting on because he was going down to Oklahoma earlier this week. So he wanted to take some water and help out with those tornado victims. Awesome racing at Charlie Clark Memorial. We're working on getting an interview with Jason Cole. We're going to fold that in probably in a couple of weeks because next weekend we're going to be talking with the World of Outlaws driver who's going to be at I-80. I'm just waiting to find out who it is. I got a couple of names out there we're trying to get. possibly a Sammy Swindell again. Craig Delansky, who we talked to last year this time.
I've always wanted to talk to Jock Hausenchild.
We'll talk to Jock. Yeah, we could talk to him or one of the Kinzers. So we've got names out there we're going to try to interview, but we're trying to get Jason Cole so he could talk about his hobby stock win at the Charlie Clark Memorial. In the B-Mods, Jesse Sobbing made a one-time reappearance in the B-Mods. Somebody from California, if I got the story right, somebody from California built that car and shipped it to him.
No, that was a jet car. The guy from California bought the car.
Okay.
And he let Jesse, and I guess when Jesse was doing the burnout right there, the guy was actually waving at Jesse.
Was he
was
really?
All excited.
I think he blew his engine too when he was doing that burnout because there was a nice pool of blood right where he parked his car for Victory Lane.
Oh, no, that's not. If it was red,
I think he said that he blew his engine.
That would have been the Power Glide tranny.
Okay, but man, did he do an insane burnout
with the steering wheel?
I love that. I absolutely love that. And the crowd loved it. He put on a heck of a show. In the late models, Travis Dickus won the SLMR series. We'll talk to him in turn 3. Also, the A-Mod winner, Dylan Smith, won segment number 1. Then they did this really cool thing. They stopped all the cars along the front stretch, and 3 crew members were able to line up. And then when they sounded a horn, they're able to run out and make as many changes to that car as they wanted
4 minutes and 44 seconds. You could do anything you want, but whatever you didn't get done when that horn sounded, boom. Now, if there was one crew member, the rule was if there was a crew member or tools left on the track or on the car, you automatically went to the back of the field on the restart.
And I think there was one guy that didn't get his hood reattached in time, and so he had to race the rest of the race with his no hood. That is an aerodynamic disadvantage. A massive one, correct?
Oh, yeah. If you've seen my car this year, you can tell I'm definitely playing with some aerodynamic stuff on my mod.
And then segment 2 was the winner, Kyle Burke. We'll talk to Kyle in turn 2. So that was the Charlie Clark Memorial. 176 cars. They did a fantastic job getting some awesome talent out there. Let me just read off some of the drivers in the A-Mods.
The B features and all classes could have been A features at a lot of big specials.
Here's your competition for the A-Mod. Kyle Burke, Jesse Sobbing, Travis Dickus, Johnny Sadoff, Chris Abelson, Shane Hyatt, Josh Most, Luke Waniger, last year's winner, Bob Moore. The field was absolutely stacked.
Dylan
Smith. Why didn't I read off Dylan Smith? Oh, I just missed Dylan Smith.
Zubak.
Yeah. Bob Zubak was absolutely stacked for the A-Mods.
On the first 22-lap segment, there was a red 5S that just took off like a rocket.
Yeah.
He was gone. That was Bob Zubak. And then there was a black and red 70 of Jesse Dennis. He was fast. I mean, good Lord. And it was stacked in all the classes. There was no gimme. Everybody was driving like it was the last race they're ever going to do in their life. I mean, they were putting it all out on the line.
Kyle Burke had himself a pretty good night, finished second in the SLMR version of the Charlie Clark Memorial. And then he comes right back and wins the A-Mod segment 2. So he got the 2022 for winning segment number 2. And because he had the best overall average finish, he is the crowned champion of the 2013 Charlie Clark Memorial. I can't say enough how much fun I had out there at Charlie Clark. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the racing was great. The crowd was into it. The weather was perfect. You guys really missed out on a race. And I'm telling you right now, World of Outlaws, I don't want to go all Fox on you, but if World of Outlaws is going to be anything like we saw at the Charlie Clark, you best get your butts out of the seat and go and watch that race because you're going to get put on for a show. I'm not going to overfox it here. I'm not going to oversell it.
The one thing I will honestly tell you is the World of Outlaws, like I said, have not been there for 10, 12 years. If you think they're not going to come out and try to put on a hell of a show, you're going to see unsanctioned B-Mods.
What do you say we head over and talk with Travis Dickus and Kyle Burke in turn 3? What do you say, bud?
Let's get her done.
All right, it's the front stretch presented by Joe's Karting. Turn 2 in the wraps, heading over to turn 3. It's going to be our interview segment. Kyle Burke, Travis Dickus just around the corner. Thanks for hanging with us. It's the front stretch presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
For 50 years, Eagle Raceway has been pushing the limits of dirt track racing. Saturday nights, come see the Midwest Best Battle at the fastest third-mile track. Gates open at 5:30 for IMCA Modifieds, Sport Compacts, Hobby Stocks, Sport Mods, and Race Saver Sprint Cars. Eagle kicks their season off on April 19th with the Icebreaker Challenge, featuring the debut of the Race Saver Sprint Cars. Located just 10 minutes east of Lincoln on Highway 34 and online at eagleraceway.com.
and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole for the front stretch and the best place to catch all the NASCAR action today. Open at 11 a.m. with delivery available to Council Bluffs.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.
Time to grab another tear-off and make your move. We're headed into Turn 3 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Turn 3, presented by Koziski Auto Parts, 51st and I Street in Omaha, 731-4592. Get down there, get your car repaired at an affordable price, and make sure you get the quality parts that actually go on your vehicle. 731-4592. We're talking Charlie Clark Memorial, and on the phone with us now is the winner of the SLMR A feature, driver of the 21T. It's Travis Dickus. Travis, thanks so much for taking your time this morning.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Talk a little bit about how your season's going so far for the 21T.
I tell you what, this year has been great so far. We went down to Wheatland and we missed the show me 3 times by 1 spot. So, other than that, we got us a win the other night at the Charlie Clark, and we won in Albion in the modified. So this year has been good.
How much do you think going down and racing the Show Me 100 helped with the Charlie Clark on Sunday night?
That down there is, if you mess up or blink wrong, you're going to get passed.
Yeah.
Down there. It's that tough. But coming back here was probably just, I had it in my mind that, you can go down there and run with them guys, and there's no reason why you can't come back here and do the same thing.
Yeah. But was it just the added experience of, it's so tough as a driver to gain knowledge and to do better when you're only racing once a week. You went down there and raced earlier in the weekend, and then you were able to come back and put together, I believe, 4 straight days of racing, right?
Yeah.
So do you think just having that extra seat time helped out?
Well, and down there, you ran for your heat races. There were 20 lap heat races. You know what I mean? And then the deep feature stuff was 20 laps, and the non-qualifier was 20 laps, and then you come back here and we ran, I think, an 8-lap heat race, and then we ran like a 35-lap A feature. Well, the more laps a guy can get, the better off anybody's going to be.
Yeah, and I talked to you down in the pits after that win, actually in Victory Lane, and Kyle Burke had a lot of really good things to say about you in the SLMR. He said, I sure hope that Travis is exhausted himself so I can get a win in the A-Mods. Talk about your win in the SLMR, man. You guys, you and Kyle Burke were just going back and forth, battling for about, 10 laps during that feature?
Yeah, it was. That's what racing is all about, and I was just glad that we could, put on a great show for everybody that showed up on that Sunday night was the main focus, whether, he beat me or, and I had to run second to him, which we've had to do, for a long time, and just to be able to pull that off was just exciting.
And that was some fantastic racing. Just a couple of features later in the A-Mods, you finished 4th. Is this your first year racing the A-Mods?
Yeah, this would have been my 4th time in that modified. Ran a couple nights at one night in Columbus, and then we ran 2 nights in Albion.
You didn't already win one night, did you, in the A-Mod?
Yeah, we won in Albion.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What is the biggest difference, being a driver of both classes, what's the biggest difference you see between the late model and the modified? Because me personally, I'm looking to possibly go Grand National late model racing next year.
The first thing that I noticed is everything is so much slower, not meaning the speeds or anything like that. It's, the way that the car reacts is so much slower than a late model. The steering is, so much slower than what it is in the late model. I was talking to Travis Roth about some of the stuff, the differences is, and I said, some of them nights that we ran that modified, that thing, almost handles better than a late model sometimes.
That I would have thought the late model would have handled and was easier to drive than the modified on any given night.
I tell you what, that modified that I'm in is it's a good modified, and we have not done. We bolted 4 shocks on that thing, and we just have not changed anything, and that thing has been comfortable from day one with me. So,
did you have somebody help you set it up?
That car come from Travis Ross, as everybody knows that he's the owner of Razor now. And then my new one just quite isn't done yet. So then this one was just sitting, and it was for sale. So then we just jumped in that one to get the season going, and then hopefully here shortly my new one will be done.
So what propelled you to come up with the idea to start racing modifieds?
To be closer to home, so my family could probably go to the races, go to Columbus, which is 30 miles from my house, Albion, which is 40. They don't get to go to I-80 every time I race, or they don't get to go to Missouri or wherever I go with the late model. So just to be able to stick closer to home and being able to race is probably the reason why I did it.
Talking with Travis Dickus, winner of the SLMR race this Sunday at I-80 Speedway for the Charlie Clark Memorial. Travis, I've been having a lot of conversations with Joe Koziski, who's obviously a big-time late model racer around here back in the heyday when he was still driving. Him and I were having some pretty in-depth conversations about the health of the late model world today. I feel like it's really starting to struggle to find drivers. Are you getting the same sense that it's getting harder and harder to find late model tracks and racers?
To be honest with you, is the cost. The cost of these late models is unreal, what it costs to run one of them things.
Yeah.
Compared to, like a modified or something.
Yeah, I think that's a major factor for a lot of drivers in any field today is just simply the rising costs of being competitive. And unfortunately, the late model is the pinnacle of that. A set of tires is $400 for a tire, right?
One tire, was $170 for that late model.
And you go through tires every couple of races, right?
If your car is not right in 25 laps, I would say that thing is going to be junk. Both of your tires will be junk by the end of the night.
Wow.
So you actually do wear tires faster when the car's not set up right?
Correct.
Oh, that's interesting. Yep. I guess I didn't really ever think about that aspect of it. Well, Travis, what's the rest of the year look like for you? How can people follow the 21T?
Well, we're gonna keep going as long as our engine lets us on that spoil deal, the MLRA. We're going to try to compete for that rookie deal, and then we'll be in Columbus with the modified, we'll be in Albion, and then wherever, I'm going to try to support that SLMR series as much as I can when it's in the area. But other than that, that's going to keep us busy enough.
All right. Do you have a Facebook page people can follow you on?
Yep, Travis Dickus Racing.
Dickes, Travis Dickus Racing. I know I'm a fan of it now, and I'm following you. So it was great to see you at Victory Lane. It was great to have a conversation with you. And I want to say on the fan side of it, thank you for a hell of a show on Sunday night at the Charlie Clark.
Travis, that was an honor to watch you and Bert go at. I mean, wow.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I've heard nothing but good things from everybody about that race, and I just hope that it happens more often.
Hands down, best late model race I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was, like I said in my interview on the front stretch there, I said, whenever that 14 is in second or whatever, you got your hands full.
You held him off like a champ, I'll tell you that. My money, and please don't take any offense to this, for the way he was coming, my money was on him to get around you, but man, you showed him who was boss that night.
There was a couple times in 3 and 4 I thought I gave it away. It was a little rough there, but
he was a lot faster in 3 and 4. But you just seemed to get the grip off the corner and hold him off along the front stretch.
It was. I think we were maybe a tick better in 1 and 2 than he was, but in 3 and 4 he was better than we were. But all in all, we got the win, and we just we keep going forward from there.
All right. Well, best of luck for the rest of the season. We appreciate your time, and have a great weekend, man.
Okay, thanks for having me, guys.
Travis Dickus, driver of the 21T late model, super late model, and also I think he's a 21T in the modifieds, right?
Yep, yeah, both cars look exactly alike.
Listen, we may sound like we're just, and obviously we talked about it a lot in the last turn, but Dear God, that was an awesome race.
And there's a lot of good races that go around the Midwest and the nation, respectively. But that race, like I said, when you go into the corners, you've seen this, Dan. You go into the corners at Denison, we lift, we set the car, we get back in the gas, we drive off the corner. These guys were not doing that. I mean, I think if you were to have anybody with 1% less talent than what those two were displaying Sunday night, they'd been eating the wall.
Oh, definitely. It was great racing. And let's head over and talk with the guy who finished second in that SLMR Series race, but ended up getting the win overall at the AMOD Charlie Clark Memorial. On the phone with us now, Kyle Burke, the Marquette Missile. Kyle, how you doing, man?
Not too bad.
It's good to talk to you again. We always enjoy having you on the show, and I got to tell you, we just got done talking with Travis Dickus, and we were kind of gushing on how good of a race you guys had, but since you haven't heard it yet, let's just repeat it so that the fans could really get a good picture. Man, that SLMR race was fantastic between you two.
Well, in all honesty, I would like to have been in the stands watching that. If I could have done both, that would have been one of the rare races that I'd like to have been on both sides of the fence on that one. My hat's off to Travis. He drove an awesome race. They had an awesome race car. We had a really good race car. I mean, there's times we've won races where the car wasn't as good as I know it could be, but yet we won. And there's been times we won races, and then the car's been absolutely spot on. And our car was close to being spot on. And usually when we're that good with the car handling and everything, not always, but usually we win them when the car's that good. And by gosh, they were just as good, if not better. And he deserved it. He earned it, and I loved racing him. And that was fun. That was aggressive, but yet respectful type racing, if you ask me.
Kyle, I was pitted down there in turn 3 at the Charlie Clark, and this is what.
Oh, you had the best view of all there, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I did. Boy, I tell you what, that I could have sold tickets for $100 to watch that race because I told him
that was probably our most aggressive corner.
Oh, it is, because I told him, I was like, man, you guys, any track, whether it be a hobby stock, B-mod, late model sprint car, whatever. When you go into the corners, you typically tend to lift a little bit to set the car. Then in the apex, you get back on it and you come right back down. And this is exactly how I described it. And Dan Taylor here was laughing. It was almost like you guys were playing chicken with each other in the wall. Because it's like, okay, Kyle, I'm Travis Dickus. Nice to meet you. Let's see how deep you can go into this corner. I'm going to stay on the gas. Let's see how far you can go. And then here comes Kyle Burke. Well, I'm going to stay on the gas. I'm going to get through this corner. How hard can you go into it, Travis? And I mean, I have been to the Super Nationals. I've been to the Late Model Nationals in Knoxville. I've been to World of Outlaws shows. I've seen Dan Taylor run to the bathroom. I've seen some fast stuff in my lifetime, but nothing like what I just watched Kyle Burke and Travis Dickus put on this Sunday at the Charlie Clark. That was the best race I've ever seen in my 40 years of life. Wow. That was a treat.
It's fun to be involved in those because we all know that it's not that wild and exciting every night. Thank goodness, because I don't know if I can handle it. But from the crowd's perspective and for the good of the sport, it's always nice to have close, exciting, just flat out aggressive driving from two guys like us but yet respected each other. And we both wanted to win that so bad. And when it's all over, everybody says, "Oh, you got more, paid more to run second." Well, I get that, but as a driver, I don't even care if it pays anything to win. We're there to win.
Yeah.
When our helmet's on, that's all we're thinking about, is trying to win that race. What it pays, it doesn't mean nothing. It does when the dust settles, don't get me wrong. But when we're in that race car, my one and only goal is to beat the guy that's trying to win that race. And I did all I could. I threw everything at him, and he still come back and took it back away from me.
You mentioned the word respect, Kyle, and we all know that you've raced against Travis Dickus a lot in the last couple of years.
Yep.
And I know you feel comfortable racing against him, but whether it be a new guy or a veteran as Travis, when you can put on a hard-fought, fender-to-fender, wide-open race like that, lap after lap, in the long run, does that make you respect him even more and feel that much safer running against a guy like that, where you can trust him later on in the future?
Well, I think for me it does. I hope he feels the same. I've tried, over my career to drive, treat others as I want to be treated, and hope in the long run that pays back. And Travis and I have had very, very little skirmishes over all the years that we've raced. In fact, years ago they bought cars from me. I even had him drive my car a little bit. We've got a pass, and no pass with any two drivers is always 100% perfect and good. That's just a fact of life. But we have a very good. It's 90% good, and he showed to me Sunday that he still respects me and our team and our car. And I treat him equally. We didn't leave. There's times I don't even think we had a quarter of an inch between us, but we might have even bumped, but I don't think neither one of us had any intentions of taking the other one out. We were just driving over our head borderline, but yet under control, but out of control. However you want to weed through that's the fine line.
I got a real kick out of what you said in the post-race interview when I was talking with you. You ended up finishing second that SLMR series, but then you hopped in the car for your A-Mod to go race that, and you said, boy, I sure hope he used all of his energy because I'd like to get this A-Mod win. And he did. He must have used up all of his energy to fight you off the SLMR because you ended up taking the A-Mod A-feature second segment win, and overall you ended up winning the Charlie Clark Trophy. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, before I jump into that, still hats off to Travis again. He hops in that modified. Has only raced, I think they said 4 times, a modified at all. And to run as well as he did in that second segment was very impressive. So we know we got our hands very full with him in the very near future in the modified racing. There's no doubt about that. So all that to say, yes, we, very honored to be able to pick up that second segment, driving a Razor car, helping develop them over the years. I had got to meet and know Charlie through Justin and all that, and before Charlie's passing. It means a lot to me just to be able to race that race, but to go out there and win it in a Razor mod with so much personal ties between me and Justin and his dad and all that in the past, it's very, very neat. And, I sat there when we were on after the first segment, and we had our little 4-minute pit stop. I tried not to let my head hang down too much sitting in that car. I was sitting there watching them 2 jet mods ahead of us, and I tried to keep my head up. I was very, very determined to beat them. And I don't mean I'm nothing against Dale. In fact, I have utmost respect for Dylan and Jesse. I mean, they've won a lot of races, and they're as good as we're going to run against in that level. But doggone it, we want to put this Razor car in a winner circle, and they're as determined as I am also. We know that. But so that second segment, luckily for us, the car handled good. We got to the bottom and got our way worked toward the front faster than they did, and stayed out of trouble and was able to go ahead and finish it off. But it was a fun race. You just mentioned those 2 jet mods. For all of the Jesse haters and Jesse, the people that follow Jesse and the people that hate Jesse because he's all this and all that and whatnot. And I've said it for a long time. He's one of the best things around here that's happened in modifieds. I mean, you're a legend. Dylan's a legend. Johnny's a legend. There's a lot of legends in the mods, but. Is Jesse, coming from a guy of your experience, is Jesse the real deal or not? As much as it pains me to say this, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but because you're right, we have so many other guys that are so good. But, yes, he is, and I don't care what kind of car he's sitting in. I don't care even what class he's sitting in. I hope he just stays at the modified and leaves me alone in the late model.
I knew that was coming.
He's a Travis-type driver. I mean, he's calculated. He's under control. He doesn't crash a lot. He doesn't crash much at all, and he wins a lot. And I think no matter what class and division that he puts his heart and his mind, and focus to, he's going to run in the front. And I had my hands very full of him at the end of that second segment.
Was you sweating bullets with him?
I really was, and I don't want to admit that. Say, oh no, I had no big deal. I don't own that car I drive, and that was on my mind in the last few laps. That are saying, we may have to crash this thing to try and win it, not crash him. I'm saying drive as hard as I can. If that means scrape the wall or overdrive it to try and win it, I was willing to do that.
Yeah,
not nothing against Jesse, just absolutely to win the race.
And that was another.
Luckily, I didn't need to get that stupid.
And that was another great battle we saw that night. It was not only you and Travis Dickus in the SLMR series, but in the A-Mods, you and Jesse were going back and forth. Just fantastic racing. And the A-Mod field that night was absolutely stacked with talent.
It was.
Yeah, it's as good as a big area around here has to offer. There's no doubt about it. And anytime, look at the national champions we have sitting in that race.
Yeah.
With Johnny and Dylan and Jesse and there's others. Luke Waniger that won the thing last year. I mean, absolutely. Jay Nodeman. There is so much talent for a race like that. It's just incredible, and I feel very honored, very proud to be able to run competitively, with him, let alone to go ahead and come out on top of that deal.
Well, with the time we got left, let's talk a little bit about what you got left for the season. What's the coming weeks looking like for Kyle Burke, the Marquette Missile?
Well, usually I'm about 1 week out on what I know I'm doing for sure. or what I think I'm doing for sure. But tonight we're going to be racing out at Dawson County Speedway with the SLMR Series, and really look forward to going to that event, track we used to race years ago. So we hope for a lot of fun out there.
Well, where else can people follow you? Facebook page, website, that kind of stuff?
Yes, KyleBurke.com. We keep it simple because that's about all I can handle. Not very computer savvy, but we're trying to keep our website updated, and we try to get new information out after every weekend so people know what's going on and some new pictures. And we've got autograph cards now, new ones, toting our new Aurora Agronomy sponsor, new colors this year, and we got T-shirts on order. Should be here in a few weeks, so we're really excited about the new look and the new team and building new cars as we speak here. I stopped to work on my 2013 that hopefully won't turn into a 2014 missile chassis, but it's going to take a few weeks. We just got brake lines on it and a few components on it. We got a long way to go yet, but here, hopefully in the next 2-3 weeks, we can roll out a brand new car and see if it's better yet.
When are we going to see the limited edition Kyle Burke BB guns being coming?
Yeah, are those on their way?
Autographed by Linda Strobel.
Yep.
We'll have to keep that in mind. If things slow down, we might have to amp it up a little bit and get some BB guns out there.
Hey, how is the missile chassis coming so far?
Well, we're still running last year's design, which it's been very, very good to us, and we've changed some stuff on the new one. Not a lot. We feel we was as good as I could expect last year, so we didn't want to reinvent the wheel again. But we've done some tweakings on this new one, and I'm very excited about seeing if it'll be better. And we've got a jig made, so in the future for this coming winter, we can offer a few of them to customers and just slowly work our way into that as that sees fit, I guess, basically. And it's a lot of work. We build a very detailed car, put a lot of heart and soul and design into it, and that just takes so much time. But we hopefully can go out and be winners in them and put other guys in the winner's circle with them too.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your 2013 Charlie Clark Memorial Champion, Kyle Burke, the Marquette Missile. Kyle, we always love talking to you. You're welcome on the show at any time. Best of luck to you the rest of the season. And, again, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you very much. I feel honored to be on the show and hopefully see everybody at the track again.
Definitely will. Have a good one, Kyle.
Thank you.
Really couldn't get a more nice guy.
No. Class act.
He's such a well-spoken guy, nice guy. I don't think he would ever say anything negative about anybody, even if he does think down upon somebody for something they may have done. He'll always find the silver lining. I love talking to the guy.
Very well-spoken, but I tell you what, we were joking about this. He is one of the fastest talking racers I've ever met. You had better listen very well when he talks to you.
He drives fast and he talks fast. We ought to get him together with Sammy Swindell, do a little teaching.
Oh, well, I drive sprint cars.
Turn 4 just around the corner. We're going to wrap it all up, and we'll be back. It's The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
This week's Legend of Tomorrow on The Front Stretch is Anna Scouten, following in the footsteps of her twin brother, cousin, grandfather, and great-grandfather. Anna loves turning laps on the dirt tracks around the Midwest. In her first year of racing, Anna finished 4th in points in the Junior 2 Cage Karts class. This year, Anna stepped up to the 206 Light class and can be found at Mini E and Little Sunset every weekend during the racing season. Off the track, this Legend of Tomorrow plays volleyball and putts around the golf course. She proudly wears a black belt in karate, but always makes time to visit her dad's shop, Hog House Motorsports, where they build and repair race cars. As a freshman in high school, Anna made the honor roll yet again this year and plans on getting her degree in architecture. Make sure to keep your eye on Anna Scouten, a rising star in the dirt tracks, and this week's Legend of Tomorrow on The Front Stretch.
The Silver Dollar Nationals are returning to I-80 Speedway on July 18th, 19th, and 20th. Don't miss the nation's top USMTS, MLRA, and Lucas Oil dirt late model racers as they compete at Nebraska's fastest track. Come watch the nation's best dirt track racers compete for a $27,000 to win payout. Ticket prices and packages at 402-342-3453. The 3rd annual Silver Dollar Nationals at I-80 Speedway, July 18th, 19th, and 20th. Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.
Get ready for the victory lap as we make our way into Turn 4 on the front stretch. Presented by Joe's Karting. Online at joeskarting.com.
Just about ready to wrap it up, race fans. Turn 4, as we're headed into it, we see the checkered flag just around the corner. This is the front stretch. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. And by the way, we want to say thank you to Gus and Craig for getting up every Sunday morning and putting the show on for us. Brave men, brave men, and we don't thank them enough. The FedEx 400 Benefiting Autism Speaks is just a few hours away on Fox. Green flag's going to be at about 12:15 today. The Monster Mile goes on now. Bud, the Pick'ems contest, you get to pick first because unfortunately your guy blew his engine and you had your first bad race of the season, I think. Maybe your second bad race. Who are you taking for today's Autism Speaks 400?
I told you, I was thinking about changing it. I'm going to go ahead with Eric Almirola.
I don't think that's a bad pick at all. I think Petty Enterprises is definitely on the uptick. I'm going to go with a bit of a sentimental favorite. It's not a bad statistical pick. In the last 3 races at Dover, he has finished in the top 10 all 3 races. Has been doing consistently better this year, and it seems to have that ability to kind of come back from adversity early in the race. Also, if he wins the race today, cool $1 million is going to be donated to the Children's Miracle Network. I'm taking the Awesome Aussie. I'm taking Marcus Ambrose. I think he's poised for a
so we both have what I would consider high B-tiered driver.
I don't think. Yes, yeah. And the tough thing is, I don't know if I necessarily want to classify them as a B-tiered driver because those guys, they're talented and their organization is finally catching up to their talent. I think
Andrew's taking 27?
Yeah, Eric's going to take Paul Menard. Wow. Yeah, Andrew called me earlier this week and said, I'm taking Paul Menard. I think the 27 is poised. So we're all taking kind of underdog picks here. I don't think anybody would have. I certainly would not expect you to take Eric Almirola.
Yeah, I know your eyes are kind of like, really?
Well, it was mostly relief. Let me ask you this question, because I'm going to be on a little bit of a statistical tear the next couple of weeks, attempting to be on one.
You need to be on one.
Who do you think has the best finishes of all active drivers at Charlotte Motor Speedway?
You have to either be Kyle Busch or Jimmy Johnson.
Neither of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Joey Logano. In fact, Joey Logano has the second best finish at Charlotte of any driver. The only one that's beaten him, I can't even remember his name, but he's been long retired since the 80s. And Marcus Ambrose, you can see over the last couple of years, he's really starting to kind of get together. Obviously, he's going to be a surefire pick for one of these road course races, which, by the way, I just realized I may have done myself in because I wanted him for Sonoma, but I can't take him now because of the rules. But anyways.
I was just looking here, though. On the spreadsheet that you got, we're 12 races in, so we're 1/3 of the season.
Right.
Woo. Even I'm going to have to start playing the statistical markers here because I'm looking at my picks. I'm like, man, I've already taken the 18. I've taken the 48, the 14, the 15, the 16, the 20. I've already taken all the superstars. So I'm going to have to kind of lay low. I think everybody's going to have to lay low with maybe go some of those Marcus Ambroses, the Eric Almirolas, the Danica Patricks.
Yeah, I feel good about this pick because I think Marcus is poised. I don't want to say he's poised for a win, but I think he's poised for a good finish. I
want to let the listeners know that we're not talking about who's going to win the race. Right. We're talking about between me and Dan, whose driver's just ultimately going to do better. And then when you throw Andrew in there, so out of the drivers, we don't care if they win or not. I mean, ideally we'd like to see him win, but I'm thinking my driver is going to do better than Andrew and Dan's driver, right, not necessarily win.
But I think today I'm almost willing to put the house on Jimmy Johnson winning the race today. So I'm banking on Marcus Ambrose leading the most laps, but coming home second.
Well, if this is sponsored by FedEx and you just came out of an injury like Denny Hamlin, could he have a a point to prove to his sponsors at today's race?
I think he's got a point to prove. He's got a chase to prove, and he's doing very well for himself.
Since coming back, he's been on a tear since coming back for his injury.
Finished second, and what did he finish? Fourth today?
Yeah.
Or third last weekend?
Yes, a second and a third. So he goes to FedEx at Dover, sponsored by FedEx, his main sponsor. Does he not want to prove a point and show him that he's just fine? Because he's going to have all the company brass there. His sponsorships will be there in person.
Right now, Denny Hamlin is 24th in the points. He came up 3 positions with his top 5 finish. So it's going to be, we've got time to talk about this. How embarrassing would it be if Tony Stewart misses the chase, but Denny makes the chase?
I don't think it's embarrassing at all. For Stewart, yes. For Denny, no.
That's what I'm asking you. For Stewart, obviously it's going to be a little embarrassing because you raced all races and you missed the chase. I don't think Stewart's making the chase.
No, I don't think he's making the chase this year.
The 7th place finish, I think he was the benefactor at Charlotte of them simply having enough laps to work on the car because he didn't have this fantastic car all night long. Not like Casey Kane and Kyle Busch did.
I see a big shakeup. I see a shakeup coming in.
And we talked about it last weekend. They haven't been competitive at all.
No.
This was the first weekend at Charlotte.
We're talking, what, a 3-time champion?
Yeah. He's one of the few drivers that can race about anything.
Yeah.
And he can, even if it's a bad setup car, he can still get it into a top 10 finish. He's just not able to do it.
No.
So that's our little Stewart-Haas racing. And oh, by the way, he's mad at someone. He's mad at Ricky Stenhouse for blocking. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know. At the end of the Charlotte race.
So you got Stewart, you got a 3-time champion screaming at you, then you got your girlfriend going, why the hell did you put me in the wall, hon?
Yeah. Says if I could get my hands around him right now, I'd choke him.
He doesn't want to make his driver mad, though.
That was a quote from Tony Stewart when he was doing a post-race interview on Sirius XM satellite radio after the Coca-Cola 600. One more lap of having to mess around with him, and he talks about his strong anti-blocking stance. Hey, also, look at this little study. A study was done by the Alan Newman Research of Richmond, Virginia, found that 90% of Army National Guard soldiers who enlisted or re-enlisted since 2007 were exposed to the Guard through recruiting or retention materials featured on NASCAR cars and or other drivers. Of those enlisted or re-enlisted during the time period, 85% agreed that professional sports are beneficial to attracting and retaining good soldiers. Just another one of those articles that's out there showing that, it may cost you a lot of money to advertise on the side of a NASCAR car, but it works. You got to spend money to make money, right, bud?
Yeah.
I'm asking you that. All right, we thank you for your time today. It's been a pleasure chatting with you and talking to you about NASCAR, talking to you about dirt track. One last thing, we talked about it all day long. We're going to talk about it next weekend too. World of Outlaws going on at I-80 Speedway June 9th. Get your tickets today. Discount tickets available at Napa, worldofoutlaws.com. and i-80speedway.com. Thanks so much for joining us. This has been The Fred Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
In 1999, Wade Cross decided he was tired of overpaying for shocks, so he created FX Shocks. Now FX suspension customers reach across the United States with countless wins and championships, including national champion in 3 major IMCA classes, plus Super Nationals champions in all 4 of the Saturday night's main events. Get your FX Shocks today. One-on-one consultation is waiting for you at 308-383-9609. 308-383.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.